The summer of 1996 in Charleston, South Carolina, people started getting sick. And I mean really sick. And for weeks, nobody could say why. They blamed the strawberries first. It took months to find the real culprit, a parasite called Cyclospora, riding in on a load of imported raspberries. By the time they had it pinned down, it had reached 1,400 people across 20 states. And then those of us who were around just forgot it ever happened. Fast forward to 2026. It's summertime again, and thousands of us are sick in more than 30 states. The same parasite, this time in the bagged salad sitting in the fridge. And to this day, nobody can tell you which field it came from. You see the pattern? I do. We've been here before. And none of this is just a story about the past. It's the same thing over and over. Something small comes for the food we grow, almost always carried in on our own trade, and we don't move until it's already here. So here are 7 foods America lost, or barely kept. Number 7. The grape. 1863 in the vineyards of southern France. Healthy vines start to wither and die, and nobody can say why. Over the next 20 years, it lays waste to something like 40% of the country's vineyards. The killer turns out to be an insect no bigger than a pinhead, a root louse called phylloxera. And the only thing that ever stops it is America. Our native grapevines had lived with phylloxera for thousands of years and learned to shrug it off, so growers everywhere started grafting their European vines onto tough American roots. Crisis over. Except we didn't take our own advice. In the 1960s and 70s, as California's wine grape acreage exploded, growers planted a rootstock called AXR1. Easy to work with, but part European. Scientists warned them it wasn't truly immune. They planted it anyway. And starting in 1982, phylloxera came roaring back through Napa and Sonoma and ate it alive. Around 50,000 acres torn out and replanted, at a cost of more than $1 billion. The bug never left. We just kept handing it a way back in. Number 6. The peach. Every villain in this file so far snuck in from somewhere else. France, China, Australia. Not this one. This one was already here. 200 years ago, as growers planted peach and plum orchards up and down the eastern states, a small native weevil was waiting in the tree line, the plum curculio. The female cuts a little crescent-shaped slit into the young fruit, tucks an egg inside, and the grub eats its way out from the middle, so the peach drops off the branch before it ever ripens. Left alone, it can ruin up to 85% of a crop. That's the reason you basically cannot grow a clean peach east of the Rockies without spraying for it, spring after spring, right up to today. Most of the foods in this file were taken by something we let in. The peach is the reminder that some of our enemies were homegrown all along, and this one we've only ever managed to fight to a draw. Number 5. The apple and the pear. Around 1870, a shipment of ornamental plants lands in San Jose, California, carrying a stowaway from China so small you'd miss it on the bark, a scale insect. It latches on, drinks the tree dry, and breeds fast enough to crust a whole branch gray in a single season. They named it after the town, the San Jose scale. From those first California trees, it rode the nursery trade east. Infested stock shipped to New Jersey nurseries and got sold all over the country. And by 1895, it was in orchards across most of the eastern states, killing apple and pear trees by the thousands. It became known as the most destructive scale insect in America, and in 1914 it earned a second title, the first insect ever caught shrugging off a pesticide. A government entomologist named Charles Marlatt had been warning about exactly this for years. Foreign pests walking straight in on imported plants with nobody at the door. The San Jose scale is a big reason he finally got Congress to pass the country's first Plant Quarantine Act in 1912, years too late for a lot of orchards. And if you want the rest of what happened to the American apple, how we went from 17,000 varieties down to a handful, I've got a whole file on that one. This bug is just one chapter of it. Number 4. Corn and sorghum, July 1956. A cornfield in Columbus County, North Carolina. A man walks his rows and finds a little plant with pretty red and yellow flowers growing in the dirt between the stalks. It looks almost delicate. It had never been seen in this hemisphere before. And it is a parasite. It's called witchweed, and it doesn't earn its living the honest way, in the sun. It stabs its roots into the roots of corn and sorghum underground and drinks them dry from below. By the time the corn looks sick above the ground, the damage is already done. Within a couple of years, witchweed had spread across nearly 500,000 acres of the Carolinas, a weed that can starve a cornfield before the farmer even knows it's there, with seeds that sit in the soil waiting for years. So the country did something it almost never manages. It went to war, and it won. The USDA and the states threw a quarantine around the whole region, built research stations to hunt it, and worked it field by field for decades, until they'd wiped out more than 99% of it. Witchweed is one of the only foreign invaders America has ever come close to erasing outright. Come close. It's still out there, in a handful of counties, waiting for us to look away. Number 3. The orange. The 1880s, in the young orange groves of Southern California, the trees are dying and the growers can't stop it. A pest from Australia, the cottony cushion scale, named for the fluffy white egg sac it drags behind it, has swept in and is smothering the branches. Chemicals do nothing. Men are burning their own groves to slow it down, and plenty of them are walking away for good. California citrus, barely started, is about to die in the crib. Then the government tries something almost nobody had done before. Its chief entomologist sends a man named Albert Kubala all the way to Australia to find the pest's natural enemy, and he comes back with a tiny red and black beetle, the Vidalia beetle. They turn it loose in the groves, and within a single year, by the end of 1889, the cottony cushion scale is finished. Orange shipments out of Los Angeles jumped from 700 rail cars to 2,000. That rescue is famous now, the first great win for what we call biological control. But strip off the happy ending and look at how close it ran. The entire orange industry of California came down to one beetle in a jar, carried home from the other side of the planet. Number 2. The potato. The 1930s on a farm on Long Island, New York. The potatoes come up stunted and sick, the roots rotting, and nobody can figure out why. It takes until 1941 to name the killer, the golden nematode, a microscopic parasitic worm from the Andes that feeds on potato roots. And when the female dies, her body hardens into a cyst packed with 300 to 500 eggs, and those cysts can sit in the dirt, alive and waiting, for 30 years. How did an Andean worm end up on Long Island? Almost certainly on the mud caked to the tires of military equipment shipped home from Europe after the First World War. That stretch of Long Island had been a staging ground. This is the one that could have taken the American potato nationwide. So the moment they found it, the federal government slammed a quarantine down and never fully lifted it. To this day, the golden nematode is fenced into a few New York counties, and it's the reason your seed potatoes get inspected before they can cross a state line. We didn't beat this one. We surrounded it, and we've been holding that fence for 80 years. Number 1. The soybean, the one you've never heard of robbing us right now. 1954, a soybean field in North Carolina. The plants are just underperforming, not dying dramatically, not spotted, not wilted, just quietly making less than they should, and nobody can see why. The culprit turns out to be another parasitic worm, the soybean cyst nematode, And here's what makes it the worst of the whole file. Most of the time there is nothing to see, no wilting, no warning. The plants just quietly yield less, and the farmer never even knows the worm is down there in the roots. From that one North Carolina field, it spread. By 2017, it was in every soybean state in the country. In Iowa, it's in roughly 3 out of every 4 fields. It costs American agriculture around $1.5 billion a year, every year, which makes it the single most damaging pest of the soybean, the crop that's quietly inside almost everything you eat: the oil, the animal feed, half the shelf at the store. And it's adapting. The resistant soybeans we bred to stop it. It's learning to feed on anyway. This isn't a story from the archives. This is happening in the ground this season. The soybean nematode is breeding straight through our best defenses. An insect we haven't even named yet, the spotted lanternfly out of Asia, first spotted in Pennsylvania in 2014, has spread to nearly 20 states, and it's loose in the grape country of New York, draining the sap out of the vines the same way phylloxera did a century and a half ago. And Cyclospora is still in the bagged salad in the fridge, more than 30 states from a field nobody can find. It worries me how ordinary it always is. Just a crop we planted everywhere, a bug with a clear road in, and a warning nobody acted on until the vines were already dying. And the warnings were always on the record. Marlatt told Congress the pests were walking in on imported plants. The quarantine law came after the orchards were already dead. The scientists flagged that AXR1 rootstock before California planted 50,000 acres of it. The receipts are always there. We just file them and move on. So the next time somebody tells you our food is safe, ask them about the graft under every wine grape, the fence around Long Island's potatoes, the worm in 3 of every 4 Iowa fields. Foods don't just vanish. Something comes for them, and we almost always see it coming. That's not history. That's the forecast. Here's what I want to know from you. Of these 7, which one should I open all the way? The full file, start to finish. Drop it in the comments. The one that gets the most votes is the next one I pull. And if this is your kind of thing, the subscribe button keeps you in the room when the next file opens.